God bless you. I'm Elect Lady Prophetess Owens. Welcome to another Elect Ladies Corner. I'd like to share the thought with you today. When is it time to forget, and when is it time to remember? It seems there's an art to remembering and forgetting. Remembering and forgetting, even though they seem like total opposites on the spectrum, they can still have very unifying powers. The word remember is used over 1,200 times in the Bible, and forget is used over 300 times. So it's good to know when to forget, but more so when to remember. There are many things in our past that we cannot change, or we wish we never got involved in. There are many hurts and disappointments that we had to endure in life that we had no control over. Then there may be situations that we have inflicted upon ourselves that we regret, or bad decisions we made that seem to just torment us. But the good news is, when we turn our lives over to Jesus, we can forget about those things and move on with our lives. Why? Because God said He has forgiven and forgotten them. Hebrews 8:12, God said, "For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more." That's why Apostle Paul, who was a notorious enemy to Christians, once he was converted, he said in Philippians 3:13, "Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before." Some things you just have to forget and move forward to a brand new day. Now, if God can forget or forgive your wrongs, why are you trying so hard to remember? Let it go and keep it moving. So if there's a time to forget, when is it time to remember? Remember means to emphasize the importance of something that has happened in the past or something said in the past. Hebrews 10:32 said, "But call to remembrance the former days, in which after you were illuminated, you endured a great fight of afflictions." Sometimes you need to remember all the things God has delivered you from and delivered you through to remind you that He is yet able to do it again. When David had to face a 9-foot giant, although he was only approximately 5 feet tall, his courage came to fight Goliath because David remembered what God had done in his past. God had enabled David to slay a lion, to slay a bear in the past, so he was confident that God would enable him to defeat Goliath. But remember, when God has blessed you, to give Him the glory and don't take His glory. Deuteronomy 8:12 said, "But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is He that giveth thee power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant." Also, when God has delivered you from destruction, don't look back at what God has delivered you from, or even your old lifestyle. Luke 17:32 admonished us, as it stated, "Remember Lot's wife." God told her, along with Lot, to leave the corrupt city of Sodom and not to look back. But she turned and looked back anyway, and she turned into a pillar of salt. It's never good to look back into your past, which can cause you to draw back. That is, fall away from God and return to your old ways. But other times, it's good to reflect or remember from where God has brought you, to trust Him, believing if He did it then, He can do it again. I like to say, ta-ta. which means time and time again, God does it. Lastly, it's good for young people to remember God now, as stated in Ecclesiastes 12:1, that said, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." So if you remember to acknowledge God now, while you're young, by making the right choices, you'll reap the benefits in your later years and not look back at a life of regrets. So to all of us, let's have the wisdom in life to know when to forget and when to remember.